Hi and welcome to another video. I just woke up, so my voice might seem a little squeaky. Forgive me for that. In this video, I'll be sharing with you a delicious pie that I made with the divine, or that I made with God. And I will share with you how I found peace in the midst of my chaos. I started to write a journal where I studied my mind and my thoughts for 10 days. And so that is what I'll be sharing with you, plus the experience that I have had. This pie was really delicious. We had it for dinner. If you would like the recipe, I can provide it in another video. But in this video, unfortunately, I didn't put it in. But if you have made pie before, you will see that it's really simple. But mine was special because God was with me. Anyway, I'm going to start by saying when life is going well and everything is great and perfect and just beautiful, we completely forget that there is a bigger force behind it all, and that it is not our doing, meaning our ego's doing, that is behind it all, and that it is God. Like I choose to call it. You might call it the divine, you might call it the higher source, the universal source, whatever you choose to call it. But I choose to call him God, and that he is in charge of it all, and he can take them all when he decides to, and that it is up to him to decide whether your life continues this way or that way. But we seem to forget that, and we think that it is obvious, and yeah, we deserve it and whatever. But I have learned that without him, I am nothing. Without him, I struggle. Without him, I am miserable. I was always your typical person that I only remembered God when I needed something. It was either I needed to pass my exams, I needed to get a particular hospital to work at. Then I paid more attention to God. I prayed nicely, and then when I got what I wanted, a few days after, I will forget him. This has all changed 5 months ago, when I decided to let God be my driver and I the passenger, and not the other way around. In one of my videos, I talked about the house that we manifested and the problems that came with it, and that was when my husband got a stroke. My husband was working as a pilot, and he flew to Malaysia, and there he had a stroke. It took me weeks. I had to go and bring him from there to Austria. He was in the hospital. He then went to the rehab. After lots of therapy, he gained his mobility to walk, and he was able to talk. He's able to eat, but his hand function hasn't come back. And I also noticed that his thinking isn't the same. Of course, he had a stroke, a blockage in the brain. So from what I know from God, he will be fine, but it will take time. So anyway, with his sickness, I have learned so much, because I came to the realization that I cannot fight the battle by myself. And so I decided to surrender to God. My dad, who has been a vegetarian ever since I was born, we have 5 siblings. I'm the last but one. I'm 40 years old, and our youngest is 6 years younger than me. So yeah, you can tell. You can calculate it if you want to. And he always used to tell us that there is a third eye in the middle of our forehead, and that we are God. He used to say all these things. I mean, we used to go to the Catholic Church, but my dad, he joined this um, Indian, I won't call it society, but Indian spiritual group that, and he got initiated there. I know he got initiated 2 years after I was born, 1986. I was born in 84, and he had already joined years before that, before his initiation. So he is a big meditator. He always got up at 2 in the morning and meditated till 5 in the morning. Okay, seriously, I'm not kidding. But we never took part of it. We went to the Catholic Church. He went to the Catholic Church with us too. He was one of the heads in the church. So we grew up doing morning devotions and getting up at 6 and reading the Bible and all those things. But it was the surface for us kids. We just did it because my dad forced us to. And growing up, yeah, every now and then I read my Bible. I had a Bible and I wasn't dedicated to it. I never made God my number one priority when I woke up. He always came last. And even before I went to sleep, I would pray a very slabby prayer, very fast. God, thank you for this day, blah, 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 like most of us, okay, do. So that was me. And when my husband got sick in March 2024, I have had the most struggle in my life. I have had the most anger in my life. I have had the most rage in my life. I have been the most evil person in my life. I have yelled at my husband. I have even come to the verge of hitting him, which I have never done before, which you should never do as a wife or a husband. I have screamed at him. And whenever I did all those things, because he just slept all day, he didn't want to do his therapy, he would sometimes write his therapist and say he is sick, and I will get all ready and ask him, when you get you ready, and he will say, I'm not going because I told you I'm sick, when I know he is not sick. I mean, yes, mentally something was wrong, but physically he wasn't sick. And I was so frustrated. Here I am working a 40-hour job. I work in a hospital as a nurse. I have patients that are all in coma. So one way I was grateful that he was in the condition that he was in. It could have been worse. My kids are in a new school. This house we moved in is 20 years old. There are a lot to be done both outside and inside. All our things are still in boxes, sitting in the basement and in the garage, and I'm the only one parking and unpacking gradually. And I had just rage. I cook, I clean, I do everything. So little things like him taking a shower when he was going weeks without a shower and just waiting for me to help him take a shower. There were days where I was mad and I had this hatred for him, and I was like blaming him for getting sick. I would go grocery shopping by myself and I would see people with their families and husbands, and I would be so sad. I would come and sit in my car and I would be crying. I have cried in my basement. I have cried in the bathroom. I have cried everywhere. And I was just getting tired. I was frustrated. I mean, if you have been through a difficult phase in your life, you will understand me. But if you haven't, then you will not understand, because I did not understand it before. Even though I worked in a hospital, I see people's dads, people's husbands, people's children in a coma, helpless. They will never get up. They will never be normal. They will never be living life like we are. But it wasn't me. It wasn't my experience. So although I felt pity for them, it didn't really touch. I mean, it touched my heart to a certain degree, but I just forgot it, Say, yeah, that is life. But this was me experiencing difficulties in life, which I was not used to. I'm coming from a life where my husband made so much money in a month. I make enough. I also worked. I mean, I work as a nurse. I don't make enough, but I make average. And we had just a great life, and I never appreciated it. I just, when we moved into this house, all I was doing was just complaining how everything sucked and how everything is old and how I want to change this and change that. And I was just this bitch, I should say, this witch. I don't even know how to call it. I was just this physical body was just all about want, want, want. And me looking back, it makes me so upset. And I keep thinking, God, I should have made you first, and not all these material things that I was putting first. But anyway, in order not to ramble too much, I talked to my dad. I told him all my problems and how I'm so close to giving up. I was feeling like driving down the hill because we live on a mountain. And when I was driving to it, I was thinking I would just drive down the mountain and just drive into the hill and just end this misery. But I have 2 kids. Who should take care of them? And after all, my husband was always good to me. He never yelled at me. He never hit me. He always respected me. And those things will not leave me to do something. Of course, maybe I was just thinking, because that is the mind, as I have gotten to learn, that is the mind. It wants to destroy you. But thank goodness I saved myself by the power of His grace, because it is not by my doing. It is Him supporting my awakening that has gotten me here. That I must say it, and I am proud of it. So I talked to my dad, and he told me, listen, you have to accept your problem. You have to accept what is going on, because it is your destiny. And until you accept it, you will not find peace. You won't be able to get yourself out of here. So that is what I did. I had a dream that I am supposed to be reading the Bible. In the dream, I was looking for my Bible and I couldn't find it. And then suddenly I look at the foot side of my bed, and it was underneath the foot side of the bed. I took the Bible and I was so happy to find it. I woke up in the morning, told my husband, hey, have you seen my Bible since we moved? I know I packed it, but I don't know where, in which box. And he said, yeah. Excuse me. And he said, yeah, I'm sure you packed it, but also don't know where you have it. So I told him, okay, then I'm going to order a Bible from Amazon, because it has been revealed to me I should start reading my Bible. I ordered a King James Bible, a study Bible from Amazon, and then I decided to start reading my Bible. I got up at 4 in the morning, spent 30 minutes reading the Bible, praying, and doing a quiet time, and then I started getting ready for work. I always left at 5:30 to work. And then while I was doing that, a month after that, I got this inner knowing to start watching my mind. And so I'm opening my book to read. At the beginning, I showed it there. So I started watching my mind, and I did this for 10 days, and I wrote them down. So on day 1, I wrote, it felt good whenever I caught myself in the present, made me pay attention to what I was doing at that instant, and love was dedicated to whatever it was I was doing. With that being said, my thoughts were more in the past and in the future than it was in the present. On day 2, I wrote, about 30% of my entire day will I say I was in the present. I found myself in the present. I was easily distracted today than yesterday. On day 3, I wrote, staying in the present was noticed more today. I felt calm throughout the day until my kids started. That was when I came home from work at 19:30, until my kids started yelling in the house, running around and slamming doors. Then I lost my temper a bit. On day 4, I wrote, I struggled to stay in the present today, got upset with my husband, and got all emotional. I noticed today that when I'm not happy, it is hard to stay in the present. On this day, I had off, so I was home the whole day. So on day 5, I wrote, staying in the present was noticed every now and then. In total, about 40% of my day was I in present, and the rest, my mind was moving between past and future events. On day 6, I wrote, had another good day today. Did the 8-hour fasting, food fast from 4 a.m. to 12 p.m. Felt completely present when awareness was called to attention. And let me mention this. I started my fast when I woke up, because I had to always, if I had to go to work, I had to always make my kids a snack. And the fact that I was able to resist that temptation, make the snack without taking a bite, because in the past that is what I'll be doing. So I started my fast from when I woke up. Some people start their fast from when they last eat. And I was doing this journaling at the end of the day. So I woke up from 4, and then I started watching my thoughts from there. Okay, I'm not when I was doing my morning devotion and my meditation, but when I sat in my car and I was driving to work, then I started studying my thoughts from there. And at the end of the day, in the evening before I go to bed, was when I wrote down my entire experience then. So on day 7, I wrote, it was an emotional start after a discussion with my husband. Tried to stay calm all day. Overall, it was an okay day. Another day that I was off, because whenever I was off, I was home and I had to deal with my husband the whole day. So it was more challenging those days than when I was at work, which is obvious. On day 8, I wrote, I started the day with almost a 2-hour meditation, which felt very good. Did a 10 hours fast and had a pretty smooth day. The day was able to end with me not fighting my husband on anything. I worked this day, but even when I go to work and I close and I come home in the evening, I used to get on his case, So this day I didn't do that. So with me not fighting my husband on anything, I started a manifesting journal today as well. Staying in the present was about 70% of my day today. So that is a very big progress. That was what I wrote there on the 8th day. On the 9th day, I wrote, I started the day with a short meditation as always. So far, on the 8th day was my longest meditation, where I did almost 2 hours. So on the 9th, it was normally throughout the 10 days, it was mostly a short meditation. So another short meditation. I did a 6-hour food fast. Staying in the present was very powerful today. I always caught myself when my mind was drifting, or should I say, when I was entering into the monkey mind, they call it. So when my mind was just going crazy, I was able to catch myself and I was able to bring it back where I wanted it to be. I noticed mirror numbers, which they call angel numbers today, than I have ever noticed in my entire 40 years of life. So I will look on the clock and I was seeing when I woke up early in the morning, I woke up at 4, then I didn't really, my alarm rang and I woke up, I didn't look at the time. But then when I was getting ready, I looked and it was 0440, so 40 minutes past 4. And I was at work and then it was 6 past 6. And then during the day, I noticed 11 past 11, 18 past 18, 19 past 19, 20 o'clock. These were clock numbers that before I have never paid attention to. But suddenly I am looking at the time and I'm seeing them and my awareness is being brought to them. So that felt very powerful. On day 10, I wrote, staying in the present and being aware of it was noticed for the most part today, more than previous days. Almost 80% of my day. I also felt a very deep love and calmness within today. I felt this deep love and calmness today because, I think Um, at work, I work as a nurse. I think I mentioned it. We have mostly coma patient, but we have one guy that is not in a coma, but he makes this unaware movements. He is always hitting and scratching. So whenever we go to attend to him, we have to be two. One has to hold his hand down. The doctors refuse to give him medicine to calm him down because they say then he is too calm. So we go in twos, one holds his hand and the other one gives him his medicine in his. All our patients, they have a feeding tube in the stomach, pegson that they call it. So then we will pump the medicine. One will be pumping the medicine. When we have to clean him up, is the same. One will be holding his hand, the other will be cleaning. And I mostly wear when COVID started, those blue suits, in German we call it Infektionsanzug. So those suits that you wear when a patient has MRSA or whatever. So I wear them because I'm dark skinned, and when he scratches me, the marks take a really long time to go. So I wear those to protect myself. He still tries to scratch you. Sometimes you come out of his room and you look like you are just coming from a war field. Your suit is all ripped out. He's very aggressive. So, and I didn't like going to him. But on this day, I went to him and I kept telling him, Rumpold, I love you, okay? You are loved. Please do not hurt me. Don't scratch me. It hurts when you scratch people like that. I hope you know that. Don't scratch me. We don't want to hold you down tight. So be nice to us and we will do this as smoothly as possible. I kept telling him, you are loved. I love you. And we are taking good care of you. I was saying these nice things to him in the past. I would just say, if you don't stop what you're doing, I will hold your hand as hard as I can, with that voice, with anger, because he hits you and he hits you really hard. But no, I didn't feel angry. And so it made me feel good. Anyway, so with this 10-day experience that I had, just studying my mind, I came to the conclusion that my mind doesn't want the best for me. It always wants to take me in the past, where things were perfect and super and everything was great, or it wants to take me in the present and show me things for me to worry about. Or what if your husband stays like this? What if you deal with him like this for the rest of your life? How is your life going to look like? How are you going to be able to manage it all? Put this fear in me, which gives me rage, and it makes me attack my husband because I look at him like he caused this. He got sick. Why did he get sick? I learned this about my mind and I decided to surrender because I'm just a mere mortal. What can I do? My mind is doing this. I need God's guidance to be able to get me through this, to take me away from this. So I had a day off. I told my husband he should take a shower and shave. His beard was like so long. I've never seen him so unkempt before. His face so crumbly, dry. He doesn't even wipe his eyes. I told him, you have to take a shower. And he told me, no, I'm not doing it. And I got so upset and I went close to him, about to attack him. And then I felt this touch in my heart. And then I stopped and I laid on the ground and I started crying. I cried for 1 hour like a baby on the ground. I cried until I started entering into a panic attack. I couldn't breathe anymore. And he kept telling me, my dear, I'm sorry. I don't mean to do this. I honestly don't mean to be doing what I'm doing. And I kept saying, leave me alone. You leave me alone. You've ruined everything. I was just so upset. And I came down. My Bible that I had read in the morning was sitting there, and I just laid on my Bible and I poured tears. And I was like, God, I surrender to you. It is only you that can help me. I ask for your help. I give up. I ask you to come and lead me. Come and be my driver and let me be the passenger. So that was where I stumbled on that word. And ever since then, life has been easy. It has been so easy. I do not do any thinking without asking God. And He always answers. He doesn't answer the same day. It takes up to 3 days because I normally say, God, I give you 3 days, or I'm waiting 3 days for you to give me an answer. And He always has been providing. And in order not to make this video too long, I'm going to stop it here. And in the next one, I will tell you the things that I have personally experienced and I am experiencing ever since I surrendered to God. Life is much easier when you put Him first. And I wish that I have learned that earlier. Thank you for watching. I hope it helps you. If you want to give it a like, that would be nice. If you want to subscribe, that would be nice. And I'll see you in my next one.